Okay, so today is the first session of our Increase Your Child's Motivation, and the promise here is that so we don't have to nag, to yell, and to lose it to get the kids moving, right? To tonight's topic, okay, and that is how to get your kids motivated to brush your teeth or to brush their teeth, to bathe or to put on their shoes, etc. So I've grouped all of these issues into or topics into like what a toddler might face or what you might face with a toddler at around 1 to 3 years old. Okay, how to get your kids to do all these routine stuff. How many of you are struggling with these right now? Can you put in your comments? What exactly are you struggling with? Let me know if it's not about brushing teeth, bathing, and putting on shoes. So I want to know what kind of routine stuff are you struggling with your kids, okay? So let me know in the comments. I'll get back to them at the end. So a bit of context, I want to give you a bit of the psychology of what 2 and 3 year olds or 1 to 3 year olds are thinking of, where are they coming from, and why they're exhibiting such difficult behaviors. Because we always say, right, oh, it's the terrible twos, it's the three-nager stage. Why is that so? So the expanding vocabulary and their physical their physical mobility makes them look as if they are really little humans, but we forget that actually their mental and their emotional maturity is still very, very underdeveloped. Because why? They're only 1 year old, right? So power, independence, but at the same time they lack that nuance, maturity, and when they say no, we take it as, oh, they're being defiant, they're being disobedient, and then we take it as that it's an affront to our parenting, it's an affront to our authority as a parent. And then from the Montessori perspective, they are in many sensitive periods, and for kids 1 to 3 they are in many sensitive periods, but today I want to highlight 2 of them, which is sensitive period for order, which is an intense obsession with how things are placed in the environment. Like, for example, if your kids are very antsy when you change the location of their shoes. Another thing is that they are very, very sensitive to changes in the routine. So for example, if your after bath or after dinner routine is dinner, bathe, and then brush their teeth, storytelling, and then sleep, right? So let's say out of convenience, maybe you say, oh, today I'm very tired, can we not have the storytelling time? They get really upset because you've upset their routines. Okay, second thing is their sensitive period to learning through the senses. And this means that they are very, very sensitive to stimuli in their touch, in the sense of touch, smell, sight, hearing, and taste. Knowing these, what do we do then? Knowing these, right? So we want to work back towards motivation, right? Because that's our topic for today, how to motivate our kids to do all these things that we want them to do. So motivation has 2 components. One is the feeling and the other is the action. So the feeling is that they want to do something and it's so strong that it propels them into action, correct? So the best way to work towards to motivate someone is obviously to work with their feelings, so to encourage the action that you want them to do. Okay, so if they crave order, they crave independence, then we want to work with that. Okay, so for example, for order, right, if they are sensitive to order, then what we should do is to try to have a consistent routine with them. So for example, I said dinner time would be dinner, bathe, brush their teeth, story time, and then bedtime, right? So as much as possible, we should stick to this routine. And if they and it's good to have like a visual chart. If your kids are not reading yet, no worries. You can always print out photos or what of the activity that they're doing. It will be great if you can like take pictures of them and yourself also, okay, in that picture doing the activity with them. Then you print it out, and then put it in like either a cardboard, or you can put it on a notice board or on a fridge, and then you have visual markers. So for example, you can use a magnet or you can use a clothes peg, And then every time they finish an activity, let's say after dinner, you ask them to, oh, what's next? Go to the fridge and look. Oh, what's next? What do we have to do next? Oh, okay, let's go and bathe. Okay, oh, what's next? Then after you finish it, then move the marker down to the finished activity. Then you ask them what's next, and then you move the marker down. So this is helping them, teaching them how to, it's kind of like developing the executive functioning, how to look ahead what is coming up, and how to predict what is happening. So the more consistent you are, the better it will work for your child. Okay? Also, end with something enjoyable. So this is like a hack that we often use in my family. My kids, my son hated brushing his teeth until we put in like, okay, so after we brush our teeth, if we have time before 8 o'clock, then we get to enjoy Uno, a game of Uno. Okay, so it's a game. He loves games. Okay, so it kind of like got him moving faster instead of like rolling around saying I don't want to brush my teeth. He began to move faster and say, okay, after this I can look forward to Uno. So maybe you can end the routine with something that your kids really enjoy, either like story time with you. Right, okay, second thing is very important. I would like all of us, in fact myself as well, I would like us to communicate clearly, politely, and firmly. What does this mean? It means that every time you give an instruction, be very mindful. When you give an instruction, you get down to your child's eye level, okay, and then make sure he's looking at you, because oftentimes our toddlers will be doing stuff, they're fiddling with things, they are playing with their trains or whatnot, and they're not listening, they are not good at multitasking, right? So they are not listening to you. So what happens is when you just shout over their heads, which is what I often do, right? Like, hey, go brush your teeth. And I'm like doing my stuff. I'm not even looking at them. Then they will take it as, it's not important. So what I do is that, I used to do it with my oldest daughter. Now she's like 9. But to be very deliberate, get down on at that level, and I'll say, Kyra, can you give me your listening ear? So I will ask her to do this. So it's like kind of a visual action or a cue to show that she's listening to me and I have her full attention. Okay? Okay, if your kids are very much into learning through the senses, then let your child pick out a nice smelling toothpaste. Remember, the kids are very much into choice and independence. They really like these power things, they really like to choose, assert their power through choice. So give them the choice. Bring them to the supermarket when COVID is over, and then let them choose the flavor of do you want blueberry, do you want strawberry? Both doesn't matter to you, right? But it matters to the child, so let him choose. Or if he likes sensory bubble bath, so give him that sensory bubble bath, and that may make the whole routine a bit easier and happier. Okay, so yeah, so for example, if they are very into the independence, give them choice and time. So this is something that I think this coming month we can really work on, because we're all stuck at home, no HBL, right? So I hope most of us will have more time, and it's a bit more a flexible time. So what I mean by this is, if you can give your child the time to pick out his clothes because it takes so long, right? Give him that time. If he takes the time, if he needs the time to wear his shoes because he wants to be independent to wear his shoes, give him the time. Because sometimes we adults have our own time, right? And we give our kids like 2 minutes to put on their shoes, and we expect them to be out the door. But they don't take 2 minutes. They are still honing their fine motor skills. They still cannot figure out where to paste the Velcro. They cannot put in their feet into their sneakers. So they need that time. So the more we don't hurry them, the more we give them the grace and time, then the sooner they can practice, the sooner they can master that skill, then they'll get faster next time. Also, another thing I find works is that if they don't want to like brush their teeth, or eat, okay, or something like that, you can say, how you issue them an invitation, like, why don't you join me at the table? Why don't you join me to brush my teeth? Come, let me put you on this high stool so that we can see the mirror together and we can brush our teeth together. So by doing that, we are giving them this sense that, oh, mommy, daddy treats me like an adult. I'm like mommy and daddy. I can stand on the big boy stool and look at the mirror. This is where we get to the power struggle part, where how do we not engage in a power struggle every day? Okay, so number one, if your kids are already at the tantrumy stage, or if they're having a meltdown already, then number one, identify where is the tantrum coming from. So I've learned this from alpha parenting, and that is to always identify 4 things. HALT, okay, HALT. I hope you can remember this. Number H is, are they hungry? Are they anxious? Are they lonely? Or are they tired? If there are any of the 4 things, right, and they're in a meltdown stage, there's no point in teaching, no point in explaining your rationale, no point in reasoning with these kids. All you have to do is to just give them what they need. It could be as bad as physically undressing them, dunking them into the bath, okay, and then dressing them. There may be hands flailing and all that, but the sooner you get it done, the sooner they can go to sleep or go and eat or something. Because at that point, their brains have already shut down. They have no reasoning capacity whatsoever. Okay, so all you're doing is just to just suck it up. Just suck it up and know that it's because they are hungry, anxious, lonely, or tired. It's not because they are deliberately being disobedient or being rebellious. Yeah, so I give an example. Like every alternate Friday nights, we have cell group at my church, and we end at 10 plus 11. My kids sleep at 8 o'clock, so I know they are tired, but I know they will crash in the car, and I know when I get them out of the car, they will yell and they will scream because they are sweaty, they are tired, but they can't sleep yet. So during that time, I'm just like, okay, whatever, you just get into the bathroom, I'm just going to hose you down, get you dressed, and then they're crying, they're like tantruming, they're 9 and 7, and they're still doing that. Okay, it's my fault, right? So I shouldn't be scolding them because they are throwing a tantrum. It's not an affront to your parenting. It's not that you're a bad parent. It's just that you make certain choices and your kids are just not there yet. Now, second point, avoid the power struggle. How do we do that? You're the adult. So I want you to imagine, right? I am pushing you against you and you are pushing back against me, okay? And we're pushing against each other. How do we stop this? One of us has to step aside. Will it be the child? No, it will be you, your parent. Okay, so if you find that you're having this verbal argument with your child, just don't engage. If you're saying go and bathe, he says no. Okay, fine. Then you just ask him, okay, when do you want to bathe? 5 minutes time? Okay, let's set a timer. Okay, then you go do something else, then come back. And what the kids will learn at the end of the day is only that yelling wins, or power wins, or if I'm a big adult and I yell, I get my way. So that's not the right message you want to send the kids. Number 3 is don't train your kids to act only when you get mad. So this relates to my previous slide. Remember the one I told you to don't talk over their heads, get down onto their eye level and give the instruction once, and then maybe one more reminder, and that's it. Okay, don't train your children to respond at the 6th or 7th time when you start yelling. So what happens is this, when I say go and bathe, and I'm doing my stuff, right? Go and bathe. No, they're doing their own stuff, they're like not listening to me, right? And then I tell them go and bathe, go and bathe, go and bathe, go and bathe. Then they know, okay, that woman means business. I will happily go and bathe now. 6 or 7 times, yeah, that's about right. Now she's going to start yelling now. Okay, so your kids are very perceptive. Go right to the line and push our buttons, and then they will start moving. Okay, so we don't want to get to that point. We don't want to train our kids to make us mad. Then they'll start moving. So give that instruction calmly, firmly at the eye level. Make sure they're listening to you. Then you can give them one more warning. The 3rd time, don't talk anymore, don't say anything anymore. Just go to them, pick them up, let's go and bathe now. My story, how did I get into all these, right, is that when my daughter was very young, I knew I didn't want to be that kind of mother who would have to push and my kids to study, nag at them every day. Oh, have you done your things here? Have you done your spelling? Okay, and then I have to sit there next to them so that they will do their work. I knew I didn't want to be that kind of mother. I know I don't have that patience in me to be that kind of mother. So started looking for a kind of a preschool or a preschool philosophy or curriculum that would emphasize the love of learning and self-directedness. And I found it in Montessori, because when I went to visit the school, I saw that these 2 or 3-year-olds were happily learning, happily doing work, without being pushed. In fact, it was after their graduation concert, so the principal and the teachers all very lepak, very relaxed, okay? They weren't doing any serious teaching. And the principal was entertaining me, right, in that classroom of kids. So she just asked me to observe. Like, look at what the kids are doing. We're not teaching, but the kids are working. They are picking things up of their own interest to work at it. They're pouring water, they are doing bead work, they are doing coloring, they're writing their books, they're drawing their illustrations. I thought, I was like, wow. My background was a secondary school teacher, and I've been in primary schools as well before, and I've never ever seen our primary school and secondary school kids behave like that. So it was really eye-opening for me to see like 2-3-year-olds doing that. And then the 5-6-year-olds were very mature kids, you know, they were teaching the 2-3-year-olds what to do. So I was like, wow, what is this sorcery? What is this magic sauce that Montessori has? And so I was very intrigued, and I went to do my diploma in Montessori. And that's when I was really seriously mind blown at how simple their techniques are. And so I thought, like, how nice it would be if I can bring some of these things into Singaporean homes. Some of you or some of us may not be able to find a convenient Montessori school nearby, or may not be able to find one that is suitable for our kids. You know, not all Montessori schools are good, right? Just like not all preschools are good. So I thought, like, how can I bring this into more families into the homes? You know, I'm not trying to turn every of your home into a Montessori classroom, but there are a lot of principles that we can apply from young, from when they are babies, and these child-centered principles will help our kids develop into more motivated, more self-directed, more attuned to what he or she likes and wants, and they know that is respected by their parents. And so I think that is something very powerful, and I'd love to like share more over the next few days. Okay, and so this is what we are teaching in Tribe. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow, same time at 10 o'clock. All right, see you, bye-bye, good night.